Welcome. Today we're diving into an incredible tool called the Leadership Star, developed by Dave Rhodes of Clarity House. This tool is designed to empower church members to become leaders who are easy to follow, equipping them to carry out ministry in their everyday lives. We'll explore the 5 elements of the Leadership Star and how it can transform your church's approach to discipleship. Let's start with the biblical basis for this tool. In Matthew 28:19 and 20, Jesus commands us as his followers to go and make disciples of all nations. This call to discipleship is central to our mission as Christians. However, oftentimes we find that our approach to discipleship can become too centralized, relying heavily on the pastoral staff and church programs, which can limit the reach and effectiveness of our ministry. The Leadership Star helps decentralize this process by equipping and empowering lay leaders to take on significant roles in their home, church, and communities. The Leadership Star helps us fulfill our biblical command by providing a clear, structured approach to disciple making. By leveraging the Leadership Star, churches experience many benefits. It empowers lay leaders, equipping church members to take ownership of ministry roles and reducing the burden on pastoral staff. For example, instead of the pastor or pastoral staff organizing every church event, members are trained and prepared to lead small groups, outreach programs, and other initiatives. It contextualizes discipleship, helping individuals see how their unique calling fits into the broader mission of the church. For example, a member with a passion for art starts an art therapy ministry that aligns with the church's mission to make disciples by serving and showing the love of Christ to the community. It creates reproducible processes, providing clear steps that anyone can follow, making discipleship engaging, accessible, and transferable. For example, members use a standardized discipleship process that harnesses their giftedness, and they can easily use to engage with others, multiplying their collective impact. By using the Leadership Star, church members become leaders that are easy to follow, and discipleship is not confined to church programs but extends to everyday life. Let's start with vision. The vision component of the Leadership Star helps church members see a clear and compelling future for themselves in ministry. By painting a vivid picture of what they can become and accomplish through discipleship, members are inspired to take ownership of their faith journey. This vision is not about increasing the workload of the pastoral staff, but about equipping individuals to see their everyday environments as mission fields. For example, a church member sees their workplace not just as a job site, but as a place where they can exhibit Christian values, offer support, and share their faith. The call to discipleship must be contextualized. Typically, church leaders make a direct appeal like, "Come to my small group," "Come to my church." But leading with the vehicle, such as simply saying Toyota and hoping people get it, doesn't work. Instead, lead with the vision, "We're going to the beach, want to come?" This paints a picture of a desirable future. According to a popular account, Ernest Hemingway was challenged to write a complete story in just 6 words, a feat demonstrating his mastery of minimalism. While having lunch with friends, he reportedly bet them $10 each that he could create such a story. Hemingway then wrote the poignant 6 words on a napkin, evoking a powerful narrative of loss and hope. Here is that 6-word story: "For sale, baby shoes never worn." Hemingway's famous 6-word story is powerful because it's concise and evocative. Jesus did something similar when he called his disciples with, "Follow me, and I will make you fishers of men." Similarly, help others craft a vision for ministry or engaging in exactly 6 words to distill its essence. Their vision is key. Here's a possible scenario. A church member, Jane, feels called to start a card-writing ministry for individuals in a local nursing home and the families of the residents. She approaches the pastoral staff or leadership team members for help. Someone then works with Jane to create a compelling vision for her ministry. They help her articulate how her efforts can make a meaningful difference in the lives of nursing home residents and their families, connect with others, and aligning this vision with the church's broader mission of showing Christ's love in the community. Vision statement: bring hope and connection through cards. Next up is voice. Remember this, you can't disciple everyone, but you can disciple someone. In Luke 9 and 10, Jesus focuses on individuals who are receptive, the people of peace. People of peace are people who like you, listen to you, and help you. Voice emphasizes identifying and engaging those who are naturally receptive to the leader's message. and are ready to engage in a more meaningful relationship. This is about recognizing and mobilizing individuals who are willing to be active participants in their discipleship journey. For example, by focusing on persons of peace who are already inclined to spread the message, church leaders can create a ripple effect where these individuals influence their circles, thus extending the reach of the ministry organically without the need for additional staff involvement. Back to our example about Jane. Because it's Jane's idea, the pastoral staff identifies Jane as the person of peace, someone who is naturally inclined to take initiative and reach out to others. They encourage her to share her vision with others inside and outside the congregation who might be interested in supporting or participating in the ministry. People specifically in her realm of influence that are not yet engaged in a meaningful way within the life and body of the congregation. But she may ask the question, who can I call to engage? Well, this is where the mapping tool comes in handy. The staff, or church lay leader, can then use the mapping tool to help Jane identify her ideal people to engage. She should start with those who already respond positively to her. This focused approach ensures she invests in those who are ready and able to spread the message further and accomplish the ministry together. The first step to recognizing additional persons of peace is to see the crowd they're hiding in. I'm talking about your own crowd, the people around you and all your everyday personal connections. Shane Stacy of Clarity House created an excellent tool to help you think this through. It starts by listing the names of the people you know in each of these 8 categories. Home, immediate and extended family. Neighbors, the people who live around you. Work, your coworkers and regular customers or clients. Play, the people you get together with for recreation and hobbies. Church, the people you worship and serve with. Places, patrons, and staff in businesses you frequent, like a coffee shop. School, your classmates if you're a student, or parents of students if you're a parent, and faculty. Other, anywhere else you're involved in your community, including divine appointments God arranges that don't fit anywhere else. After you take inventory, comb through your relationships to look for possible persons to whom God is calling you to enter into a disciple-making and ministry-engaging relationship. Now, the truth is you'll likely have a lot of names on your list, so you need to narrow it down. Next to each name on your list, draw a small arrow. Use one direction if the person is moving closer to you these days, the opposite direction if they're moving away from you, and no arrow if they're staying still. You're likely to find that out of a list of 60 or 70 people, there are 5, 10, or even 20 who are moving toward you. If you don't have many people drawing nearer, but you have many people staying still, you might invite them to your home. If they come, ask them to do something with you that costs them something. If they accept, they're getting closer to you. If not, let them be. Some of the people moving toward you will prove to be your persons of peace. A person of peace likes you, listens to you, and serves you. Yet different persons of peace engage in discipleship with you in different ways. Here are the types of persons of peace you might identify. Family, people who have created a shared life with you, or they want to. Invite them to be companions you go and do and build with, just as Jesus' disciples traveled and ministered together. Followers, people who see something in your life that they want for themselves. Invite them to be disciples on the journey into which God is pulling you. Friends, people who serve you and whom you serve too. Probe further to find out if they're family or followers in disguise. When you identify your possible persons of peace, think about the value you're already providing to their lives just by being you. What are they drawn to in you? How do you help them? What do they wish they could do as you do? Then work with staff or church leadership to devise a contextualized call according to what you see and what you'd like to ask them to do. When Jesus told Peter and his co-workers, "I'll make you fishers of men," he was speaking on their terms. If he was inviting builders, people trained in his own craft, he might have said, "I'll make you builders of a temple." For Jane, she could invite a few persons from her crowd cloud by saying, "I'd like to help you craft letters of hope to construct the kingdom." When leaders who want to do something for God don't know their vision and their voice, very often the biggest vision they express is, "I want to start this group. Would you announce it on Sunday morning?" Then they're disappointed because the response rate is low. But when they issue a contextualized call to the persons of peace in their crowd, the response rate is much higher, and the quality of the disciple relationship is much better. God has already given leaders people to disciple. They just need to see them for what they are. Start by identifying the people around you. Look for those moving toward you and extend a contextualized invitation. This is how you find your persons of peace and begin a meaningful discipling journey. Remember, Jesus started with a few to reach many. Identify those who are naturally drawn to you and your message. They will be the ones to help you expand your reach. Mapping out your network of relationships helps you see where to focus your efforts and whom to disciple first. Next up is vocabulary. Vocabulary is about creating a shared language for your discipleship journey. Identify the processes and tools that communicate this journey effectively. Vocabulary ensures that the language used to communicate the vision and mission is clear, relatable, and easy to understand. When church members understand the mission in a language that resonates with them, they are more likely to feel competent and confident in their roles. For example, simplifying theological concepts into everyday language helps members explain their faith and the church's mission to others in their community, making it easier for them to share their beliefs and values. Let's go back to our example about Jane. The pastoral staff or leadership team helps Jane develop a simple, clear, and compelling way to communicate her ministry's purpose and needs. This includes creating a tagline and key messages that resonate with the church community and potential volunteers. Key message: bringing love and comfort through words. Join us in writing hope-filled cards. Your words can make a difference. By articulating a clear and compelling message to those whom you're inviting into a conversation, you can better engage them and invite them into a deeper connection. Next up on the leadership star is Voyage. Here's where you want to help people to think about their experiences as a leader, the resources your church offers, or the tools that they have at their disposal from personal experience, such as processes, programs, and opportunities, and key scriptures. This inventory becomes a toolkit, making the individual's approach to discipleship clear and relatable. A tool makes a habit and practice more transferable. Focus on processes that anyone can lead, ensuring accessibility and broad participation. Consider spending some time codifying your internal church toolkit. What have you created, curated, or adopted that helps communicate your discipleship process? This includes understanding the difference between programs and processes. Programs are led by experts, while processes are steps anyone can follow and lead. Let's go back to our example about Jane. The staff or leadership team helps outline the journey for Jane, highlighting the steps she will take to establish and grow her ministry. They emphasize the importance of perseverance and the spiritual growth that comes from serving others. Here are some tangible steps for Jane. Initial planning. Determine the logistics of the card writing process, including frequency and distribution. Recruit additional persons of peace who will join her on the journey. Share the vision and recruit a team of volunteers. Resource gathering. Gather materials, cards, pens, stamps through donations. Execution. Begin writing and distributing the cards regularly. Execution is not just about carrying out tasks. It's an opportunity to combine ministry and disciple making. It is in the execution aspect of the voyage that Jane can then leverage the processes of the church's disciple maker strategy, as well as do the work of ministry. Here are a few examples of how Jane can achieve this. Writing sessions as discipleship opportunities. Jane can organize regular card writing sessions where volunteers come together to write cards. During these sessions, she can start with a short devotional or prayer, creating a space for spiritual growth and reflection. For example, before writing, Jane leads a discussion on a scripture related to hope and comfort, encouraging volunteers to reflect on how their words can embody these values. Mentoring volunteers. Jane can identify volunteers who show a strong interest in the ministry and offer to mentor them. This includes not only teaching them how to write impactful cards, but also guiding them in their spiritual journey. For example, Jane meets one-on-one with a volunteer, discussing both the practical aspects of the ministry and their personal walk with God, providing encouragement and spiritual support. Creating a supportive community. By fostering a sense of community among the volunteers, Jane can create an environment where discipleship happens naturally. Volunteers can share their experiences, pray for each other, and support one another in their faith journeys. For example, Jane organizes a monthly gathering where volunteers share stories from the ministry, discuss challenges, and pray together, strengthening their bonds and their commitment to the life of submission and obedience that God has called them to. Lastly, on the voyage, you want a feedback loop where you collect feedback from recipients and volunteers to refine and improve the ministry. Voyage outlines the discipleship journey, highlighting that it involves challenges and growth opportunities. By setting clear expectations, church members understand that they will face challenges, but these are part of their spiritual growth and ministry. For example, a church member is prepared to face and navigate difficult conversations about faith with colleagues or neighbors, seeing these interactions as opportunities for growth rather than burdens to be passed to the pastoral staff. For Jane and her team of persons of peace, they will need to be sure that they take time to share their own stories, both the joys and challenges of being a growing disciple of Christ. This authenticity prepares people for the full journey and keeps them engaged through tough times. Jane will likely need to understand what the discipleship journey will be like for both herself and others. She'll need to encourage them to name their own experiences to illustrate the highs and lows. Staff and leadership should also help her craft a rough plan to support people through the difficult times. The right tools and content are essential to help a person on this journey. Make sure to include regular check-ins, encouragement, and addressing specific challenges. One tool we love to use for helping people is Jesse Cruikshank's Disciples Journey from her book, Ordinary Discipleship. These ministry opportunities or monthly check-ins in between ministry opportunities are an excellent space to help people reframe how they look at the world, understand how God is at work in their lives, and call them to greater obedience to His will. Here's how it might look in the form of questions around each stage of the disciple's journey. Ordinary person. In what ways this past month did you see God working in your ordinary, everyday life? How are you inviting God into your daily routines more intentionally? Answer the call. As you've spent time in prayer and the Word, what specific call do you feel God is placing on your heart right now? How are you responding to this call with faith and action? Team with others. Who are the people God has placed around you to support your journey? How do you need to communicate the call that God has placed on you so you might be strengthened or encouraged by them to grow in greater intimacy with Him? Learn new things. What new things is God teaching you in this season? What might you need to learn to help you navigate the call that He has placed upon you? Who among our group might have a tool to help you? Feel the struggle. What struggles are you currently facing, and how do you see God working through them? How can you lean on God in your faith community during these times? Experience revelation. What breakthroughs has God given you recently? How are these insights transforming your understanding and actions? Lives changed. How has your life changed since you started this journey? In what ways can you share your story to inspire and encourage others? By asking these thoughtful questions at monthly gatherings, you can help people reflect on their journey, recognize God's work in their lives, and grow in their obedience to His will. Finally, Vehicle is about the methods and structures that support the journey. Consider how your community already gathers and what they gather around. These can be small groups, mentorship programs, or other formats that are scalable and adaptable to different contexts. This decentralizes ministry, making it accessible and manageable for lay members to lead and participate in. For example, small group leaders are equipped to facilitate discussions and support group members, reducing the need for pastoral intervention and allowing the church's ministry to expand organically. Or if a person's community values meals together, use that as a gathering opportunity. Align your vehicle with natural rhythms to ensure engagement and sustainability. This could include regular home groups, coffee meetups, or service projects that fit into the community's lifestyle. When we think about Vehicle empowering Jane, it may be that the pastoral staff help identify practical methods and structures to support Jane's ministry without direct financial or managerial oversight from the church. They suggest creating a small group or using existing church communication channels to organize and mobilize volunteers. Jane then forms a small group dedicated to the card writing ministry, meeting regularly to write cards together. Materials for the cards are collected through donations from the congregation, reducing the need for church funding. The church provides space in the bulletin and on the website for Jane to share updates and call for support. By integrating all 5 points of the leadership star, church leaders can create a culture where members are equipped and empowered to take on ministry roles in their everyday lives. This decentralized approach means that ministry is not confined to church activities or reliant on pastoral staff, but is lived out in the daily interactions and environments of church members. Here's how it works in practice. Vision provides the motivation and direction. Voice identifies and mobilizes willing individuals. Vocabulary ensures clarity and relatability. Voyage prepares members for the journey and its challenges. Vehicle offers practical and scalable methods for implementation. This holistic approach ensures that the ministry is sustainable and far-reaching, leveraging the entire congregation rather than overburdening the pastoral staff. As a result, church members become active participants in the mission, contributing to a vibrant and dynamic church community that impacts all areas of life. Through the Leadership Star, Jane's individual calling is supported in a way that strengthens the collective mission of the church, empowers her to take ownership of her ministry, and ensures that the pastoral staff remains focused on their broader leadership roles rather than becoming bogged down in additional tasks. The Leadership Star equips church members to lead effectively in their daily lives. By focusing on vision, voice, vocabulary, voyage, and vehicle, we can create a robust discipleship culture that empowers everyone. Let's move from being hirelings who do the work to leaders who equip others to carry out the mission. Thank you for joining us. Let's go out and empower our church communities to shine brightly as leaders in their everyday lives. Credit to Dave Rhodes of Clarity House for developing this transformative framework.